Hey everybody, it is TorontoUnicorn here, and I'm chilling with my friend, and I regretted missing a very important part of my recent Oasis vlog, and so it's warranted its own video. So there is a fan of TorontoUnicorn's content that wrote a very touching post, a few places, Reddit, another kink site, basically, saying that he had been inspired by a video of mine about where I interviewed a man named Arnold Lane, where he basically had his whole life change when he went to the sex club one time. And so this guy wrote, without talking to me first, wrote about how inspired he was and how he's got this burst of, confidence to try. And he did say that, he was looking for someone to join him as like a female, but not necessarily because he was so desperate not to go alone. But the calendar wise, he wasn't able to go basically on the nights when single men were allowed. And so he was like, look, I don't want to lose my nerve. Does anyone want to go with me? And like part of me wanted to offer, but I'm like, I can't go with everybody. So I didn't do anything about it. I was gonna reach out one day and say like, thank you for the shout out, right? So anyways, then I open my Reddit messages, whatever, and I get this nice message from a guy, from that same guy saying, I just want to let you know I went to the club and it was exactly as you described, and I felt at home and very welcomed, and I had a fantastic time, and thank you for what you do, essentially. And so it was heartwarming. It was heartwarming. I still haven't responded yet, and the issue for me is I have a lot of comments to get to, and I do try to respond to everybody who's put thought and effort into a comment towards me, because I like to reciprocate, but sometimes it can take longer for the more thoughtful comments because I want to give more thought back. So I hadn't yet responded. So anyways, I go to the club on Sunday. I end up on the smoking patio sitting beside some nice man, and he's like, so are you TorontoUnicorn? And I was like, yeah. And it turns out that was him. And he was like, oh my God, I just want to say thank you. I had such a good time. And I said to him, I had a great conversation with him. And then I teased him and I was like, I thought you weren't able to go on Sundays. And I was like, wasn't that your big thing? Like, I was calling this guy out, and he's like, fair enough. And he totally explained the situation, how he had a date lined up for Sunday, but that he feels like he got a little catfished, and so then he was free. So he had a good explanation, and that was good, because if he had lied, I would not have been so warm and friendly, But no, it was wonderful. And so I caught him in the locker a few times towards the night, and then when I left, I said, he's like, what are the chances of running into you, right, kind of thing. And it was funny, when I left, I said, well, it was nice to run into you and everything, and isn't it funny how things worked out the way they did? And he said, yeah, or something. And I looked at him, and I think I said something like, yeah. I'm like, well, welcome home. And I left. And now keep in mind, he's been to the club twice, but he used the word home when he said he felt at home. Like, he felt home, not at home. He felt home. And so it was just one of those little winks that I gave as I walked out. And I hope that he took that to heart, because this lifestyle is a place of belonging. And that man was inspired to join the lifestyle by another man's story of joining the lifestyle by being inspired by another story. So the point of this is, Arnold Lane's story helped people. I know Teddy's story helped people. Amelia's, ours, a lot of people have a story that resonates with someone out there. And that is why I do interviews on my podcast. That is why I show other swingers, even behind blurred faces, because you can get so much from them without seeing their faces. So I've got to say thanks again to Arnold Lane, and thanks for the special fan who came up and basically validated that I'm doing good work. I am helping people step out of their comfort zone and into a thriving life path. So I want to say thank you to him.